hello, eRank, and welcome to the final show of the year with me, Pam Duthie, and her, Starla Moore. It's your last
Woohoo.
chance this year to get all your questions in, or let us know how your year's gone so far, or sip cocktails and eat mince pies.
We should leave the snow. We should just leave it
Should we-
on.
Okay, we'll just leave the snow. I was just, you saw the look in my eyes. It was like, how do I switch this off? She's like, no, leave the snow.
No, leave the snow until somebody says, turn off the snow.
Okay. So if
What
it's
do you guys think?
annoying, tell us. I think it's kind of cute. It
I
could be
like it.
worse.
It's not too distracting. I don't think. Yeah, Tina likes the snow.
Cool. We have snow.
We should throw out the quick disclaimer that if you're watching on YouTube live and for any reason we drop out, we did have some issues last week, so we are streaming both on YouTube and in the eRank group on Facebook. So if for any reason the stream cuts out, we will still continue on Facebook, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Fingers crossed, yes. And I did manage to get the replay uploaded onto YouTube if you missed it last week. We had a few people catch on the replay. So, yes,
Perfect.
technology is wonderful.
All right. Let's see. Well, we really only had one. Well, I guess two. They kind of go together though. Two of the comments on our Wednesday post. If for any reason you guys are watching the replay, if we stream at a time that's inconvenient to you, or if you just have a busy schedule and you can never make it live, then be sure to join the eRank group and look for the pinned post at the very top of the group on Wednesdays. You can get your question in a little bit early. That way we can make sure that we cover it. Even if you are not able to attend, you can still get your question answered, and it's a way for you to cut in line. Now, obviously for the next 2 weeks, we're not going to be here because we're going to be on Christmas break. That puts us coming back. Oh man, what day? January 5th. Right?
5th, cool. Yeah, keep an eye out. We'll let you know in the group what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
visiting my mum in the frozen north, so we'll have to see if I can actually get back back in time.
If not, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out something.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Lisa had gotten in 2 early questions. First of all, she said, is there a tutorial on each eRank feature and how to use it? Do you have a link? There's a tutorial pretty much on every single page and how to use it. If you click at the top of the page, click the learn more buttons, that will take you to our little tool pages. And are we redoing those? Are we working on those?
We are definitely working on those, yes. So they should be mainly, I think they're published, but they've been checked anyway. Most of them are definitely up to date. But yes, there's that. There's also the tool tips are the little question marks at any bit on a page. You can hover over that and it shows you something. You can even, if you click on it, that'll hold the little pop-up so you can click on any links. We've got lots of links to take you to the useful pages in like the Etsy handbook to explain why we've done a thing a certain way. And on this YouTube channel, if you're watching us on YouTube, there is some videos of some of our more popular tools. If you comment and ask what other tools you want, we'll try and do some more. And Starla and myself both have YouTube channels that we have loads of eRank content for as well. I'm definitely planning some more in the new year. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because it's such a great tool. Well, it's such a great collection of tools, but everybody is looking for something different. It came in, Anthony created this just to help his wife sort out what her shop. And then over time, he's so good at anytime anyone asks, have you got a tool that does this? He's like, not yet. There you go. So it's got more tools than anybody could ever need because everybody needs something slightly different. So don't try and do it all. Just try and pick the 1 or 2 that are helpful and how to use them. And then over time, you might come into the Facebook group and say, hey, do you have a tool that does this? And we can go, yes, we do. It's this one.
Yeah, and that kind of answers a bit of Lisa's second question. Should I look at eRank each day? If so, what should my focus be? I'm finding myself starting with monitor to see where people have found me. Then I look at competitors. Next thing I know, I'm all over the place. Should you look at eRank each day? I would say unless you're a super duper high volume seller, it's probably not necessary. Though, if I were to look at eRank each day, I personally would look at I would personally look at the delivery status report for outgoing orders just to make sure that all of my deliveries were on track. That way, you don't have to go through and click all the individual tracking within Etsy. You can just kind of keep an eye all from one page. That's something that would be useful every day. And I like to look at what was hot yesterday by clicking the little flame icon. That's just interesting. I like to see the day to day and how things change. Pam, what do you think?
I'm totally with you that most people probably don't need to check every single day. You
Mhm.
definitely no almost nobody should be doing like in-depth SEO every single day. I can't think of a major reason for that. Anything that you're doing every day should be the really quick stuff. Like, I think it's not a bad thing at all to check Spotted on Etsy every day or depending on how busy your shop is. But click on and go, oh, that's interesting. Because then you've got in top of your mind just to say, oh, these are the keywords that I'm getting found for. So if something changes, you can say, oh, what happened to that? Or that's a new one. But it's not something that you do any kind of in depth on. It's just that's the thing. The what's hot every day is really interesting for most of us. Not super important probably unless you are like a massive digital or print on demand type shop that is high volume and is keeping up with the trends. For the rest of us, it's another one. Have a wee look, go, oh, that's interesting. And then if you're starting to see some kind of trends that make sense for you, then maybe it's something you could jump on. But every day, I would absolutely not be doing anything that takes more than a couple of clicks. You know, it shouldn't. I don't think it should be taking for hours unless you're a super high volume seller and you're probably not in this video watching this because you're dealing with Christmas orders just now. So
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're like digital or something, and then you're probably bored right now.
yeah.
Um, all right, so we're gonna move on to questions. It looks like we already have a ton, so that's good. You
Oh
guys are way
wow.
more motivated than we expected. We figured that we would jump on the live stream and there would be nobody here because everybody's tired from the holidays. So proud of you guys. I'm I do recommend that you all take a nice holiday break though. You're all way too motivated right now. Let's see. Facebook user. Sorry if if I can't see your name. It's because you're not logged into our handy dandy Be Live. But I am still confused if it is worth tagging with words that should be obvious, such as handmade jewelry. Um, Here's the thing. By the time you get, for me, it's like 8 tags. I'll get done, and then I'm out of ideas. And then you can just put whatever the heck you want in there. Is it worth it? I mean, it's probably not going to bring you a lot of traffic, but if you don't have anything better, there's no harm in experimenting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think we've been saying this every week and
Yep.
it's because it's important, but getting 13 perfect tags is not gonna happen. We're just generally throwing spaghetti at the wall with the last 4 or 5 of them. It's just like, yeah, that's a thing. But I will say, over the past few months, we have noticed a trend for buyers searching for things that say the word handmade, handmade jewelry, handmade bags or stuff. Um, is it gonna be a huge thing that'll bring lots of traffic? I doubt it, but it does. To me, that tells me that buyers are they come to Etsy because they want handmade stuff, and perhaps some of the shops they're seeing aren't handmade stuff, so they're sort of reiterating in their search, they're saying, "I want some handmade jewelry." So, if you're finding lots of people are finding you for things like that, then yes, not only can you throw it in a tag, but also I would say if you're seeing the word handmade before keywords that are important to your type of niche, I would be taking that as my buyers want to know this is handmade. So my one of my photos, my listing videos, everything is showing that I am physically making this product or how I'm involved in it.
Yeah. If I was doing like a handmade pottery mug, and I know that a majority of the mugs on Etsy are like print on demand, handmade might be a great term to throw in there, because I'm trying to target a very specific type of person that's going to be different than somebody who wants a mug that has something printed on it. So I think it all just depends on what you sell. But you said jewelry, so experiment. Test
Yeah.
it out.
Absolutely. And I can see people who search for the term handmade jewelry are looking for something a bit different. So, yeah, I think big up on how you're specially handmade rather than the kind of print on demand stuff that Starla I didn't even know existed till Starla said you can get basically print on demand jewelry. So, not that any of that's bad, but if people are searching for handmade, they probably want something different. So be that something different.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. Facebook user. Can we cover order in reserve orders for when your sync tracking doesn't update through Etsy properly and they think you're not providing tracking when you are? I've gotten a hold of Etsy and they keep repeating the same scripted response about order reserves without addressing the syncing issue. There's nothing that you can do other than contact Etsy. I know that that really sucks. You're gonna have to keep bugging them. I usually, when they don't read my message, I say, thank you for your response, but this does not answer my question. My question was, and then I repeat it. And sometimes it's an endless loop. Sometimes it's thank you again for your response, but once again, you have not answered my question. My question was not da da da. My question was da 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 da. And
Very
eventually,
much. Yeah, with the emails, you tend to get a canned response the first time, that they I don't even know how much somebody looks at that, but they see certain words in your question and just go, "That's the response for that person." So don't get mad, that's just what they do. I can't blame them because they probably have millions of people messaging with things that are very easy to have found the answer to. So they do that, so you have to dig a bit deeper and say, "Thank you, I'm not being mad at you, but I would like you to" and this is my exact question. Um, and I think you're talking about them holding your funds. You need the tracking to get your money, basically. All we can hope is that they take you off the having your funds in reserve at some point soon. I think it's 90 days, is it usually they're doing that?
yeah, it's up to 90 days. And then you can message them, and kind of, I've seen a couple sellers speed it up. But is there any way, are you able to remove tracking from an order and manually input it? Is that something? I've never done it before, but are you, it's the equivalent of turn it off and back on again. Um, it might be something to experiment with. But I would just continue being very clear, because here's the thing, you're not getting the same support person over and over again. You're likely getting a different one that's popping that ticket open, and you're going to get like 10 people who don't actually read. But if you continue bugging them every day, eventually you might get somebody who actually reads and understands, what the issue is. So I know that that really, really sucks.
Yeah. It is a total pain. Um, I if it's a certain company that's not updating properly just now, it might be worth if this is gonna be going on for a while, it might be worth for a short while buying your labels through Etsy just to get your money. But the ones that haven't updated, see if you can turn it off and on again, see if you can manually input something. But yes, it's horror I totally understand why Etsy are doing it. They've lost a lot of money themselves to scammers, but when you're not a scammer, it's quite annoying.
Yeah. The pricing calculator, does it break down what each number means? Can it work for print on demand prices? It can, but I believe that you need to also incorporate in the POD margins as well, correct? And you have to do that on your own.
Yes, that would be an expense, I suppose you would just put
Hmm.
into the box where it says cost of materials, put what the printed on demand cut is going to be.
Yeah.
So yes, you have to with any of us, we have to be a bit more sensible in what we're doing. It's not gonna do it for you automatically. You have to think of the numbers you're putting in there. But it works. It works enough. Um, It's difficult to make it work for everybody absolutely perfectly all the time, but it should be enough.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Fun tidbit. Etsy was a hot keyword yesterday. That's like when you go to Google and you type in Google. I'm assuming that was somebody had said, should we be putting Etsy in our tags and title? And then they
Uh,
said they were joking, but I wouldn't. Because once somebody realizes what they've done, just like when you accidentally Google, you're like, oh, I'm so stupid. And then you just immediately click off the page. So,
yeah.
um,
It'd be interesting to look into that. I mean, it could be somebody for a joke that was wanting to give out Etsy gifts, like merch with Etsy and stuff on them, which, by the way, if you're not Etsy, you can't do because Etsy's trademarked as
yes.
well, quite rightly. But it could be people were looking for maybe Etsy gifts for an Etsy seller. Who knows?
Yeah.
People are weird.
Um, Would love for Anthony to have the data for Zazzle now too. I'm seeing more and more Zazzle commercials on TV now. I think that they're getting bigger. We actually had Zazzle data for like a second. It was one of the things that we were able to get. Pam, can you pop up the compare sites tool?
Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
That's fine. Ultimately, what we found was that we did a check of Society 6, Zazzle, Fair, which, obviously Fair is different than all of those. Redbubble, Spoonflower, and a bunch of other ones. Yeah, the cat is like screaming. I don't know why. She's on a diet, so she's like really mad. Um, but anyway, we did a comparison, and I believe that Zazzle was actually one of the lowest in terms of overall traffic, and the investment there for us to actually pay to have that data, because it is very, very expensive. It ended up not being something that was worthwhile, we felt, for you guys, and that also means that you wouldn't get a lot of data. However, I will say that we do have Walmart data, and that is something really, really interesting, because you can now sell through Printify on Walmart. You can now sell your print on demand products through walmart.com. So that might be something to actually consider. But honestly, I would just look at POD trends in general using the Trend Buzz tool. Okay, so let's compare Zazzle and maybe Redbubble.
Yep. Hang on. My computer's running slow. Compare
You
site.
got a lot going on.
Yeah.
This is our new sites tool. If you guys haven't seen it,
Yep.
it's great for comparing, like what we're about to do. It's not great for comparing traffic from, like little websites. Like, I wouldn't try to compare your website to something, but it's great for deciding what marketplaces to sell on. If you've
What
got,
else did you want, Starla? Sorry.
Zazzle, and maybe compare it to Redbubble. Um, if it'll work.
It's working.
There you go.
Well, give
A
it
lot
a
of data.
minute.
It's got to think.
Yeah, give them a poor internet a chance. It's doing a lot.
But anyway, it's also a great way if you get those companies that reach out to you and they're like, we're a big blogging company and we want to feature your products. You can see if it's actually worth it to you to do that.
Oh, the graph doesn't seem to want to load, but we do have some data.
All right, let's see. It's very small for me.
It's okay. Well, so the rank in the US for Redbubble is 558th, which I mean, I think I can't remember what Etsy is, but it's like way up. It's way higher. 558th website in the US, and Zazzle is 760th.
You know what? That's actually not as that's not as bad as it was. So maybe because of the holidays.
It's increasing, yeah.
Yeah, maybe because they have those holiday commercials. Yeah, because when we checked, oh God, when did we get all that marketplace data, Pam? Like spring?
Yeah, something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
When it was on the chopping block, and it just at the time was not worth it. But maybe we'll reevaluate it. We'll maybe keep an eye on it, see if it continues to do good. Yeah, I think the TV commercials are making a difference. And I got might be interesting to you specifically, Tina, but I got a Society 6 catalog in the mail, which is really weird for a print on demand, based company. I thought it was interesting. It was advertising more the products themselves, telling you that you could find any art you wanted for the type of product. But I just thought it was cool that they made a printout like that.
That's
Let's see.
cool. Yeah, I just looked for Etsy. So we said Zazzle is 760th in the US. Etsy is 29th.
Yeah.
So that just kind of says the difference there.
All right. Let's see. Oh no, I'm still getting Christmas orders. Even got a Halloween plate order.
I put my shop on vacation over a week ago. It's fantastic.
Let's see. Jill said I get found for handmade ceramics. Awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. And yeah, a good example of in certain niches, it doesn't hurt to put handmade somewhere in your tags just in case.
Let's see. Not a question, but a statement. I got my urine reviews for my shop. I love those. How everybody's doing what Spotify did, or they're doing like YouTube did it too. Did you get your YouTube urine review?
Yeah, I saw my YouTube one. Yes, I haven't seen my Etsy one yet.
Oh yeah, we got Etsy ones. One of the top keywords I've been found for is one I don't use or sell an item for, and it was weird. I've never seen it trending on my superstar keywords and ranking on eRank. I just thought that it was odd. I also saw one of my top search words for my traffic was my own shop name. Maybe I should start using my shop name for my digital shop SEO. Oh,
That's good. Well, firstly, for anyone, if you're seeing your shop name is something you're getting found for, that's fantastic because that's showing you're becoming a brand. People are starting looking for you and recognizing the name of your shop, which is always a really cool step. It's like the next step on the newbie to suddenly you are a brand. So that is cool. Being for a keyword that you've never seen before as your top keyword, that is weird. Probably worth a little dig around in. But it could be something that you just happened, you had a big spike in the summer or something when you weren't paying attention. I don't know. It's worth looking at, but not worth worrying about.
all right. Over on YouTube, Jennifer, you're holding up the whole weight of YouTube right now since one of our
And
only comments.
everybody left us.
I know. Let's see. But this is great for my POD. I put their price for me and the shipping they state for the item and fill the rest out. Only one sale so far, but it was dang close to my calculations in eRank. So that's good to know.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so it's definitely working. That's as we say, it's there to help you. It's nothing's perfect. But yes, I'd say dang close. Sounds good to me.
Ooh, Tina, I didn't know that. Society 6 is cool, but they only allow you to choose your markups with your art prints. They have a flat royalty on everything else. So not much room to make money on the actual products on Society 6, which is odd because Society 6 products are ridiculously expensive. I was browsing some products a couple months ago, and I mean, for a product that is, mass produced, the fact that, I mean, with Redbubble, like the products aren't super duper high quality. I've been relatively happy with the products that I've ordered from Redbubble. It's no fault of the creators. It's just how Redbubble prints them. And, they're not fantastic, but they're okay. And the price is pretty cheap. That's kind of what I've liked about it. Then again, you can set some margins there, but in Society 6, I will say that their product quality is actually pretty high. I have ordered a couple items from Society 6, but it's crazy that they are that expensive and they don't allow the creators to have a bit more control.
Yeah. I was watching, who's it, Shimmy Morris on YouTube, and he was saying with Amazon, the print on demand with Amazon, whatever it's called, that's the same. You don't get to pick your markup, and they're taking a bigger cut from next year as well. He specifically said that Etsy, the fees are less than doing that on Amazon. So I suppose that was good news for us. But yeah, I didn't know Amazon didn't why am I not surprised? Amazon give the creator no no wiggle room for anything.
Let's see. I'm still getting a few Christmas orders too, but if someone wants to pay $30 for express shipping for a $15 bracelet, so be it. Yeah, for real. Other than, I mean, I don't know if I would be doing that if I was shipping to or within the UK, because I've been seeing Amber Marie has been posting all of those crazy photos and videos of um one of your like sort facilities just overflowing. The packages are like outside in
It's so
bins.
random because here I've been ordering stuff online and then going, "Oh, that was silly," and it's come the next day still. So
Wow,
we're
from, like,
absolutely
Amazon?
fine. Hmm?
Is it, like,
From
Amazon?
everywhere, from eBay, from Amazon. I've ordered directly from companies, and it said your parcel is with the Royal Mail. You're like, oh no, but next day there it was. So I think it. I suppose it's like when we've had trouble in the US in the past. It's certain depots are struggling more than others. Certain ones will be more busy. Certain ones will have striked a little more than others. But yeah, up here it seems maybe a day or two extra sometimes, but we've been fine.
Yeah, well,
And
that's
but for the people wanting to pay extra, if it's possible to guarantee that it's going to get there, never underestimate how much a husband will pay when he's forgot to get a present.
life lessons to learn. Alright, let's see, it's either, over on YouTube, are you Susan or are you Suzanne? I just opened up my shop in October. I've had 31 sales and have a 5% conversion rate. That's actually good. 31 sales isn't bad.
Mhm.
Um, do you think that that conversion rate will help me move up in ranking? I'd love if more people could see my listings. Yeah. So, I mean, every time you make a sale, what you're basically telling Etsy is that my product is good. Somebody liked it. Same if somebody leaves a review, this product is good. Somebody liked it. And Etsy knows that if they recommend that product to more people, then that product is going to help Etsy to make money as well. Now that conversion rate for the listing the individual product itself, which we can't view individual product conversion rates, that's what really counts. When you go to your back end on your Etsy shop though, and you see that your overall like shop conversion rate, um, your overall customer and marketplace experience score, which is like your shop as a whole, like do you have any cases against your shop, that's going to hurt it. But do you have a lot of good reviews in your shop, that's going to help it. That overwhelming conversion rate that you actually see isn't affecting like individual product rankings. However, those listings selling are helping those individual rankings. What we don't like is when we see sellers look at that conversion rate in their Etsy stats and start panicking because they Googled somewhere that their conversion rate should be some, special number. It's not really how it works. It's more per listing and how individual listings perform. And we're not able to see individual conversions for individual listings, which would
Yeah.
actually be really useful if we could.
It's even more sort of granular than that, actually. It's the individual conversions for the individual listings being shown for the certain search terms.
Yes.
Because the way so and we actually can sort of see this, but many people don't use this thing. If you go into marketing, the search analytics beta, that will actually show you the keywords you're getting seen for, and it does tell you the conversions for those keywords, so you do have the data, but you really have to dig about to actually find it. So it is kind of cool, but at the same time it's not desperately worth worrying about. I look at it every now and again to see if there's something that a lot of people were searching for, maybe that I was ranking a bit low for, but I had a nice conversion for. Maybe I could make some more listings or, focus in on that keyword a little bit more. But in general, the 31 sales are going to help you move up in ranking. This is something I see a lot. We finished the busy period. It's not Christmas anymore, really, for most people, so sales are going to drop. However, shops that have had good momentum, people are spending money in January. And if you were doing really well, chances are you'll still see a little bit of momentum on into January. So the fact that you were selling well is probably a good thing that will keep you going a little bit. But whatever you've just started your shop in October, so don't read anything into what you've had just now, because you've just opened in the busiest time of the year. So I don't want to be like a downer here, but it's like a long, slow decline until next Christmas for most of us. So don't go buying the yacht until you've seen what the next year is going to be like.
Yeah, we have sellers who will start selling, right around when you did, when traffic is the most plentiful on Etsy, and then they think that, in the summer they're like, Etsy is dying. I'm leaving. I'm going to sell my things somewhere else. No, that's just what Etsy does, because there's no holiday shoppers. Same with people who started their shops in 2019, 2020, right before the pandemic, and then we all had to buy all of our necessities online, and we were doing a lot more online shopping due to things like stimulus checks. And because of that, after things kind of seemed to slow back down, and we were able to shop in stores again, people once again were like, oh, now I'm not making any sales at all. Etsy's dying. No, Etsy's going back to normal. So just congratulations. I would definitely recommend using what we call the slow period, the summer slump, especially, to add some more products, fix things up, get a nice social media strategy down if you don't have one already, and start working towards overall longevity. Because the holiday sales season doesn't last. However, depending on what you sell, maybe Valentine's Day will be a great season for you. Maybe your products are giftable. Maybe you can create for other holidays. There's a lot of things that you can do.
Exactly. You've done fantastic. Like, many people take 3, 6 months to get their first sale. So having 31 sales already is really good. And for whatever we're saying about conversion not being massively important, 5% is still a good conversion rate. It is definitely saying that wherever you're being shown is good. It's well targeted for the people who are interested in your kind of thing. So that's fantastic. So you're doing you're off to a really good start. So fingers crossed for a good next year.
Absolutely. All right. Still over on YouTube. Is it Gwendolyn? How can I use eRank to help find shops to watch as competitors? Or do I need to find them on Etsy? Pam, I know you've got an answer for this.
Well, several
Oh.
answers. It really depends. The first thing you can do on eRank, obviously, we have the top sellers area, so you can go into that and look at whatever your category is. This is the overall category, and this is you going to find the superstars. These are unlikely to be your actual direct competitors. These are the Tom Cruise, the Jason Momoas of the world for you to look up to for inspiration, but they're not really your competitors. But to find the people that are more of a level is look at your superstar keywords that you're hoping to rank for or that you're already ranking for. Put them into the keyword tool, and then when you scroll down the keyword tool, you're going to see a list of all the shops that are ranking for the top for those terms. Now, it's not 100%, but as we say, ranking factor from Etsy is sales for that keyword help you rank better. So a lot of the listings that are ranking quite high up there could be ranking high up there because they've been getting good views and they've been selling well. So they will be for shops that are hopefully kind of good for that sort of keyword. So just dig into it like that. And there, just as long as you're not, not going for a keyword like ring, but going for your bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, going for things that are more specific to your item. Those are that you'll be able to find the people who Etsy considers are kind of good for that sort of thing.
All right. Let's see. Tina, I'm curious to know if Halloween products do well year round. It seems the Gothic Dark Cottage core people are buying no matter what time of the year, though I noticed late summer, July, August, everyone starts to expect more Halloween stuff, therefore are out there looking for such items. Absolutely. My mom, next time I go to my mom's house, I need to just make a video to send you, Tina. My mom's house is black and red inside, and everything is done in black and red skulls and oddities, and she is Gothic Halloween decor 24/7. It's an all year thing. And I even noticed Mark was shopping on the Squishables website, which are the cute little, stuffed animals. They do all different, not squishmallows, Squishable. They
Mhm.
do designs that the public designs them, and then they actually make the stuffed animals. But they had little gothic Christmas tree plushies. I've seen more gothy Christmas tree decor this year than I think I ever have. And the big thing was like goth girl summer. Yes. And Wednesday coming out is a huge turn in the gothy direction. So I would say, and Tina, I assume that you mean your skeleton animals that you released for Halloween. I would leave those in your shop, because they still fit your overall vibe. They don't. There's not like jack-o'-lanterns and things on them. They don't scream Halloween specifically, but they fit the overall theme of your shop, which is this kind of naturey, cottagecore, earthy animal aesthetic. I think that they have their place there. And you might still see sales generated from those, especially if, for example, you do all the different animals, and bearded dragons are one of the things that I told you that you should definitely make. Bearded dragons, we tend to see people start adopting bearded dragons in the summer, because that's when a lot of reptile expos are, and things like that. And people, bearded dragons are an animal that you can like take outside and put out, in the sun for sunbathing, and you tend to see them a lot more. So it might be the time of year when that product takes off, just because people are thinking about products like that. People are thinking about that animal, and that could go for any of the animals that you've made, the mugs for.
Yeah, but look, for the Gothic community, which is far larger than you can imagine, every day is Halloween. I actually last weekend went to see The Cure in concert at a sold out 14,000 capacity venue in my little city. So yes, there was a lot of people that I didn't know existed in the city. There's a lot of people into that kind of thing. So
Yeah. She said
never
in
never interested.
axolotls.
Oh, yeah, they've been popular for years now.
Yeah.
They're very cool.
All right. Back over to YouTube, and a digital market. Are there any rules how to manage Etsy ads? There's no real rules. Don't lose money.
Yeah.
That's a personal rule. I wouldn't want to lose money.
I wish there was.
Yeah.
Experiment, but don't put up more than you can afford. There's no guarantee. You can go into the on-site ads now, you can go into them into the individual listings, look at the search terms, and if there's irrelevant ones, turn them off. If listings are costing you loads of money with no results, you can turn off the individual listings. You can pick which listings you're choosing. One thing that I'd been doing, that when I got Etsy was doing shop reviews for some people over some points, and I got one of the first ones. And what they specifically said to me that I was doing well was I had duplicated listings and made those duplicate listings into my advertised listings with very narrow keywords and things, like very tight SEO, not keyword stuff. I didn't have 13 tags, it had like 5 tags, because I was like, I'm not spending money on stuff I don't want. So they were actually like, yeah, that's not a bad idea. So yeah, just do everything you can to narrow it down as much as possible, because otherwise they don't just turn it on, put in an amount of money, and send all of your listings off to be advertised. That's probably a good way to lose a lot of money.
All right. Well, I'll get to Steven's next, but I want to shout out Jennifer's comment. She had said, "Now I'm jealous of Starla's mom. Sounds like my dream home." My mom made, she found like an old junky coffee table, and got like the cutouts of like all the Ouija board, letters, and made this giant black Ouija board. And I was like, Mom, you're gonna scoot your coasters around on the table and summon a demon by accident. Like, you got to be careful with your crazy Ouija board coffee table.
So now you've got to get our coasters that are shaped like the little
The
puck thing.
planchette. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, over on YouTube. My shop on Etsy is a tie for you. Is it worth paying for Etsy ads they offer for a certain budget, or just save my profit and nix the ads? Sales are average until February, August, which they skyrocket. When your slow periods are. You're gambling when you've got a bad hand of cards. I mean, I think you know the answer to that. It,
Yeah.
you can gamble. It's
So,
fine to gamble when you've got a bad hand of cards, but you're going into the game knowing that you got a bad hand of cards. So I guess that's, just be knowledgeable about what you're doing and expect to, possibly lose money if you're putting money on the table when nobody's really searching for your items.
yeah, I mean, science that they don't just switch them on and leave them, but you're very much more likely to do better with ads in a period when people are buying anyway. What's going to happen in the quiet period is everybody's going to panic and say it's getting quiet and switch on ads. So the cost for the ads are going to skyrocket when the people wanting to buy your items are less and less. So sometimes we've just got to ride out the quiet period or find different things to do. Like Starla says, it's the time to be working on what you're going to be doing in the busy period, planning ahead. It's it's very depressing, and I know it's very hard, but yeah, it's the way with business, especially on Etsy. I think most shops are going to have a quiet period and a busy period.
Yeah, it's about identifying when you have made money and understanding when you will not be making money, and making sure that you're planning for the future by holding back that money, especially if Etsy makes up a significant portion of your income. That's like, Mark and I, with our Etsy coaching program, we only open that twice a year. And if we were to blow through all of the money that we made in the first month from when we opened that, we would starve for the rest of the year. You have to budget yourself out and kind of plan for slower seasons and make sure that you have what you need, like your supplies. I used to do a big supply restock for my first Etsy shop, right after the holidays, because I knew that, okay, if things slow down, I would like to make sure that I already have these things ready to go. So it made things a little bit less stressful, and then I knew what money I had, and obviously I put aside things for taxes as well, which, by the way, tax season's coming up, so make sure that you're getting yourself organized if you're in the US. And
Same with the UK. I've been
yeah.
getting my emails saying, "Get your tax in." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll think about that."
I know that.
Every year I say I'll do my taxes, like, through the year. I won't leave them to the last minute, and the one year that I did, I planned ahead, I got everything done, it was brilliant, and my computer crashed completely, and I lost everything and had to do it at the last minute anyway.
Yeah, if you go over to erank.com/blog and take a peek, we've got a couple of really great tax related blogs. What's deductible? I can't think of any other ones, but those are by Michelle Badger. She was the editor for my book. And she's also an accountant, and she specializes in handmade business accounting. So she's got some fantastic blogs that you can go and take a peek at. They're really helpful, though. I highly recommend them. And I think that she's actually going to be working on more for eRank as we approach tax time, because we know that more people are going to start thinking about it. So go check those out. Scott said, I found a new term via eRank that people were using to find my listings that I had never even heard of. Another example of the value of eRank hive mind: expand your vocabulary and increase sales at the same time, as long as they're relevant.
Oh, absolutely, but it is cool. I mean, this is the thing with sort of keyword research and everything. You make your listings, you have your first lot of ideas, and then you let it run, and you can get other ideas coming in. You can jump in the tools using the keywords that you already had and found different keywords. You get started and then expand your vocabulary. I was gonna say I really like that. I just realized I can't say that, but
Vocabulary.
yes, that sort of.
All right. Um, let's see. Well, I think that we're out of questions, and we've got 15 minutes. Did we have anything cool to show them? Anything?
I don't think I just asked Anthony if there was anything we were allowed to talk about, and he hasn't got back to me. So
That's a no.
I'm guessing silence is a no. If he was excited about something, he'd probably be jumping on here, going like, "Here's this secret thing that half of the team don't even know about yet. Let's announce it here," or something.
All right. Well, we've actually had two come in at the last minute, so that should carry us through the last 10 minutes. Thank you to both of you. Let's see. Facebook user, thank you. If I have a variable listing and I remove the variation, will the listing maintain its quality score? Is that playing with it too much, or will I keep the good SEO? That's not going to affect. Removing something doesn't affect the quality score. When we say don't touch listings that are selling well, don't touch your SEO, we mean don't remove keywords from tags and titles of listings that are selling well at the risk of cutting off one of the little highways that was leading people to your shop. If people were, traveling on this little current getting to your shop, and you cut that highway in half so that they can't get through anymore because they're no longer finding you for that term, then you're going to see a dramatic decrease in traffic. And maybe your listing is bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, and maybe you were actually ranking for bronze engagement ring and you didn't realize it, so you took bronze out, and now you're just opal steampunk engagement ring, when in reality you were broad matching for bronze engagement ring. And because those terms weren't right next to each other, you may not have even realized that you were being found for those terms. But you've just severed that highway, stopping that flow of traffic. So that's what we mean when we say don't mess with your SEO of listings that are selling well. Now, Etsy does tell us that your variations, or no, I'm sorry, not your variations, your attributes, which are the little drop down menus when you're first, are filling out your listing. They say that those, have influence, but your variations don't. Your variations in materials don't, I don't think. And if they do, Etsy's never said anything about it.
Not as far as I know. Yeah, and the thing is, if you're removing a variation, I assume you're removing it because you don't have it anymore. So then you can't have something you don't have. That made sense in my head. But yeah, so do what's best for the customer, but you're not going to lose your quality score. Your quality score is when you're seen in the search for that keyword, how customers respond to it, and when they buy from you, how they've enjoyed the experience of buying from you, pretty much. You're not going to lose that by doing things with your listing. I mean, basically, as Starla says, you don't want to cut off things that are helping. But at the same time, if you've got a listing that's doing really well, yeah, you could make it better, but you've got hundreds of other listings potentially that you could be working on instead because they have more wiggle room to improve. So if something's doing really well, work on something else.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to crash your shop or anything. It doesn't need it. It doesn't need the love. It's doing fine.
Absolutely. All right. Tina, I know you're not certified to offer tax advice. However, what are both your opinions on registering as a business as a sole proprietor? Does that benefit your taxes at all, even if you're not making a lot? Do you have it? Is everything the same? Do you have to do LLC versus sole proprietorship and all that over there? Is it the same?
You don't really have. You can do whatever you want over here, sort of, so long
Yes.
as you're registering your taxes, but you don't have to you you have to register as a sole trader in that you're selling on Etsy for the purpose of taxes. You don't have to register as a business. And there's no real benefit to that up until in the UK, I'd be saying if you're reaching the VAT threshold, which is something like about 80,000 a year. And as you already gave the disclaimer, we are not certified tax experts, but if you're getting up that level, then I would be advising getting an accountant or someone who knows what they're doing, and they might advise you at that stage. There might be some benefits to being a business, but there's no need for it if you're small. Certainly not that
Yeah.
I'm aware of.
It's very similar in the US. Basically, you can do what you want. Your LLC is going to provide protection to you so that you cannot be sued for your assets in the event that your business is sued. They your assets are protected. However, when you think about the type of product that you sell, a lot of us aren't selling things that's ever going to be an issue. So it's really a matter of what you think is right for you and your business. And like Pam said, your best route is to get yourself a good accountant, um, and be able to talk it through with them, because it's going to vary drastically. Not to mention, when you switch to an LLC, you're also going to have to give yourself payroll, and basically you're going to have money that is in your company versus money that is yours. So as a sole proprietor, when you're not making a lot of money, rather than having to put money aside that you're not allowed to touch because that is your company's money, which sounds really silly because you're like, it's my company. Then these smaller businesses, what I typically see is they stay a sole proprietor until it gets to the point where they don't feel uncomfortable issuing themselves their paycheck, basically. And I believe, Mr. Moore, do you remember what our accountant said, that there's an industry standard in terms of what you pay yourself when you do payroll? For example, it's based on
your job, the closest thing to what your job would be.
Right. So if the closest thing to, Tina, what your job would be only pays out, we'll say $30,000 a year.
And it doesn't matter how much your business makes, you're making $30,000
Right.
a year and the rest sits in your business.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much money you make, the rest has to sit in your business, because you can't, claim that your role pays more than that. And and this is why it's good to talk to an accountant, because
it's a lot more complicated.
they're going to do all that research for you and tell you what that amount is. So it's really just up to you. But I cannot, if you're in the US, I cannot recommend Block Advisors enough. H&R Block is crap. I hate H&R Block. Block Advisors is it's a separate company from H&R Block, but it is owned by H&R Block. Block Advisors, they specialize in businesses. You're able to get online, choose an accountant based on years of experience. You can, get a whole profile about them and select them. And what they can typically do is not just do your taxes, but also guide your decisions. I absolutely love having an accountant. Ours is about to retire, which really sucks because we've talked about how much we love her for years. She's super duper sassy. She always yells at us and tells us all the things that we're doing wrong, but then she ends up finding magical ways to make us money. But it's a great alternative. Yeah. I've been using TurboTax. I do not recommend that small businesses do their own taxes.
No.
I know that especially, unless you are already proficient in doing business taxes, every year things change. And there are always new, different, like little
that you could not have possibly known.
Right, write-offs that you will never know unless your only job is to sit and know these things. There are some years where we owe tons of money, then there are some years where we get magical breaks that because of some awesome thing that we can deduct from our taxes, and we end up making a ton of money. So it is a cost, but your cost of having your taxes done by a professional is tax deductible. So it's like, it's why not if you're going to be owing money to the government anyway, why not have some of that money, rather than it being owned, be able to write it off so that it goes towards you doing your taxes correctly. Not to mention, if they mess up your taxes, they have to pay for it, not you. So you don't get charged. If you get audited, you give your accountant everything. You just hand them everything. You say, here, I've been audited. Here's everything. And they do all that headache work for you, and you don't have to touch anything. They cover everything. So I am not an
Yeah.
affiliate of Block Advisors, but
You should be by the sounds of it.
I have
Yeah.
already looked
But it's
at
if you're making enough, then quite often an accountant can save you more than they cost because there's so many loopholes that us normal people can't know about. I know Tina is definitely not in the UK, but I wanted to say for everyone in the UK, HMRC, our tax office, has courses. You can enroll in courses. They do live streams, they do trainings to help you out because they don't actually want you to mess up. Also, through them, there's the Business Gateway, which trains small businesses. That is super useful. I did that when I started up. And even if you know everything, it's great for networking. You meet a lot of people the same as yourself. So they're really cool. I'm not something else worth mentioning if you're in the UK. If your Etsy sales are below £1,000 in the first in a year, you don't have to report anything. So that's kind of cool. Well, look into this. There's more ins and outs of it, but if you've only made 20 quid this year, you don't have to worry about tax. Okay.
Yeah, Tina said that she's only made $80, but it's still good to look into the accountant side, because it never hurts to ask questions. And I believe that, you could just call your local, if you have a Block Advisors, give them a call and say, hey, I'm just curious. I don't know if I need this service, but I just want to talk. Do you have anybody that I could speak with? Is there anybody on hand that I could talk to? And do it before tax season. Like, I feel so bad for all of our sweet little ladies. We have the sweetest little, I think she's like she's got to be in her late 70s, early 80s, thickest British accent, and a giant decal of the Queen in her back seat, like, so it looks like the Queen is looking out her window. She is so stereotypically British in our cornfield, cowfolk, Ohio, Block Advisors, building. And she is so sweet. But I feel so bad for her during tax time because you can tell that she's just so flustered with so many people, like, constantly causing them stress. So Tina, if you're going to call them, do it before. But yeah, guys, thanks for keeping us busy right up until the end. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, obviously, and check the link in the description. That way you can join the eRank group if you have questions while we're not here. We're going to be gone for the next 2 weeks, enjoying our holiday break, and we hope that you do the same. But we'll be back on January 5th. I think I said.
Yep, I think it was the 5th.
Yep, January 5th, hopefully, as long as nothing, catastrophic happens between now and then, and Pam is actually able to commute home from your mom's house. Is that where you're going, your mom's?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes. I was gonna say she lives up in the frozen north. We've been in the frozen not north here for the past week. So yeah.
Awesome.
But
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
in a whole new year, we'll see you.
Yay! All right,
Thank
guys.
you
See you